Creatine has been called many things over the years. A miracle supplement, a gym bro's secret weapon, a waste of money, and even a dangerous powder you shouldn't touch. The truth? None of those extremes are entirely accurate. Creatine isn't magic, but it's also not hype. It's one of the most researched, safest, and most effective supplements you can take for muscle growth and overall performance, but only if you understand how it works and how to use it properly. To really get the best results from creatine, let's start with the basics. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound made in your body from amino acids, and you also get small amounts from foods like red meat and fish. Your muscles store creatine in the form of phosphocreatine, and its main role is to help produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is basically the battery that powers every single muscular contraction. When you do something explosive, like a heavy squat or sprint, your muscles burn through ATP very quickly, usually within seconds. Once those ATP stores run out, your power output drops. This is where creatine steps in. It works like a backup generator, helping your muscles regenerate ATP faster so you can push out those extra few reps or maintain your sprint speed a little longer. Over time, those extra reps add up to more muscle growth, more strength, and better performance. But here's the thing. Not all creatine is equal. Walk into a supplement store or browse online and you'll see a flood of options. Creatine monohydrate, creatine hydrochloride, HCl, micronized creatine, buffered creatine, creatine ethyl ester, and even creatine mixed into fancy pre-workouts. Each one claims to be superior. In reality, the king of the hill is still creatine monohydrate. It's been studied in hundreds of scientific trials. It's highly effective, safe, and affordable. Other forms might be marketed as faster absorbing or easier on the stomach, but for most people, high-quality creatine monohydrate works just as well. If you choose a reputable brand, especially one that uses Creapure, a German-made version known for its purity, you'll get top-tier results without overpaying. Now, about how much to take. There are two main approaches, the loading phase or the slow and steady approach. The loading phase means taking about 20 grams per day, split into 4 or 5 smaller servings, for about a week. This floods your muscles with creatine quickly, so you feel the benefits faster. After that, you drop down to a maintenance dose of 3 to 5 grams per day. The slow approach skips the loading phase and just starts with the maintenance dose from day 1. You'll still reach full muscle saturation, but it'll take around 3 to 4 weeks. If you want quick results and don't mind taking a few extra scoops for a week, go with loading. If you'd rather avoid the slight chance of stomach discomfort, start with the daily maintenance dose and be patient. Timing is one of the most debated topics in creatine use. Should you take it before your workout for an immediate energy boost, or after to speed up recovery? The truth is, creatine doesn't work like caffeine. It's not about the instant hit. It works by building up in your muscles over time. That said, there's evidence that taking creatine after your workout with a meal can be slightly more effective. Why? Because carbs and protein trigger an insulin response, and insulin helps shuttle creatine into your muscle cells. So if you're looking to squeeze out every last bit of benefit, mix your creatine with your post-workout shake or meal. Speaking of meals, combining creatine with protein and carbohydrates is a smart move. Imagine finishing your workout and having a shake with whey protein, a banana, and a scoop of creatine. The carbs from the banana spike insulin just enough to help transport nutrients, including creatine, into your muscles, while the protein provides the building blocks for repair and growth. This combo turns your post-workout nutrition into a powerful recovery tool. One question that comes up often is, how long should you stay on creatine? Is it safe year-round? The answer, backed by decades of research, is yes. For healthy individuals, creatine can be taken continuously without any need for cycling on and off. Your body naturally produces creatine, and supplementation just boosts the stored levels in your muscles. There's no evidence that long-term use harms your kidneys or liver in healthy people. The only thing you need to watch is your hydration, since creatine pulls water into your muscles. You should drink enough water throughout the day to stay well hydrated. And here's something most people don't realize. Creatine isn't just for bodybuilders. Studies show it can improve brain function, memory, and even mood. It's been used in research on conditions like Parkinson's and depression, showing potential benefits for the nervous system. Older adults can use it to improve muscle function and bone strength, helping fight the effects of aging. This makes creatine one of the few supplements with real benefits for both the body and the brain. Of course, even with a great supplement, mistakes can kill your progress. One of the biggest is skimping on water. Since creatine increases water retention in muscle cells, not drinking enough can lead to cramping or digestive discomfort. Another common mistake is buying blends that contain creatine mixed with cheap fillers or small doses hidden in pre-workout formulas. These rarely give you the effective daily amount you need. Always look for pure creatine monohydrate and measure out your 3 to 5 grams yourself. Then there are the myths. Creatine damages your kidneys. Creatine causes dehydration. Creatine will make you bloated and puffy. None of these are supported by research in healthy individuals. Yes, you might gain 1 to 3 pounds in the first week, but that's just water inside your muscles, which actually makes them look fuller. This isn't fat gain. It's part of the process that allows creatine to improve your performance. If you want to get the absolute most out of creatine, remember it's not a replacement for hard work. Creatine can help you do more in the gym, but you still need to train with progressive overload, increasing the weight, reps, or sets over time, and eat enough protein and calories to grow. Think of creatine as the amplifier that makes your training and diet more effective, not the magic pill that does the work for you. When you put all the pieces together, the best way to take creatine for maximum muscle growth is surprisingly simple. Stick to high-quality creatine monohydrate. Take 3 to 5 grams daily, with an optional loading phase at the start. Pair it with carbs and protein after workouts. Drink plenty of water and stay consistent. Avoid the hype, ignore the unnecessary fancy versions, and let the science do the work. Over the following weeks and months, you'll likely notice subtle but powerful changes. You're not suddenly lifting 50 more pounds overnight, but you'll find that the last few reps feel more doable. Your recovery between sets is faster, and your muscles start to look fuller. These small advantages compound over time, leading to noticeable gains in strength and size. And the best part? It's not just your muscles that benefit. Your brain might feel sharper, your endurance might improve, and you might simply feel more capable in your day-to-day life. That's the real power of creatine when it's used the right way. Now that we've covered the foundations of how creatine works and the basics of dosage and timing, it's worth digging deeper into how to make it work optimally for different goals and body types. While creatine is most famous in the bodybuilding and powerlifting world, its benefits extend to athletes in sprinting, swimming, martial arts, and even esports players who want better cognitive sharpness. The underlying reason is simple. Creatine doesn't just help with muscle size. It boosts high-intensity performance and short-term recovery, both physically and mentally. Let's take an example from weight training. Imagine you can normally do 8 reps of a heavy bench press before hitting failure. With your muscles fully saturated with creatine, you might be able to push out 9 or even 10 reps. That might not sound like much in the short term, but over weeks and months, that extra effort results in more total training volume, which is one of the strongest drivers of muscle growth. The same principle applies in sports like sprinting. If you can hold your top speed just a little longer or recover quicker between sprints, your overall performance improves. One area many people overlook is creatine's role in recovery. While it's not a magic anti-soreness supplement, research shows it can reduce muscle cell damage and inflammation after intense workouts. This means you might bounce back faster and be ready to train again sooner, which in turn lets you maintain a higher training frequency without burning out. This is especially valuable for athletes who train multiple times per week or even multiple times per day. Let's also clear up one common misconception. Creatine isn't only for men. Women can benefit just as much, sometimes even more, because it helps support lean muscle mass, bone density, and high-intensity performance, all without causing the bulky bodybuilder look that some fear. In fact, many female athletes in track and field, CrossFit, and competitive sports use creatine to improve strength and endurance while keeping a lean, athletic physique. Of course, the supplement alone won't change your body without the right training. The synergy between creatine and a well-structured workout plan is what unlocks its full potential. For hypertrophy, muscle growth, creatine pairs best with resistance training that includes compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, and pull-ups, combined with enough training volume to stimulate adaptation. For strength-focused athletes, creatine allows slightly heavier lifts or more explosive power output, making it a great fit for powerlifting cycles or Olympic weightlifting programs. The diet you follow alongside creatine use also matters. While creatine itself doesn't depend on a specific diet, its muscle-building benefits are maximized when you consume adequate protein, typically 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day for those in heavy training. Sufficient carbohydrate intake can also help by maintaining muscle glycogen stores, which work hand-in-hand with creatine to fuel intense efforts. People on very low-carb diets can still use creatine effectively, but they may notice less of that full muscle look because muscle glycogen will be lower. Another point that often comes up is solubility. Some people notice that creatine powder doesn't fully dissolve in cold water, which can leave a gritty texture. While this doesn't affect its effectiveness, mixing it into warm water or a warm beverage can help it dissolve better. Micronized creatine, a version with smaller particles, also mixes more easily, but it's still the same compound at its core. The key is to take it in a way that you'll actually stick with daily. Let's talk about age and creatine use. For young athletes over the age of 18, creatine is generally safe when taken at recommended doses. For older adults, creatine can be an incredible tool for fighting sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. Combined with resistance training, it can help older individuals maintain independence, reduce the risk of falls, and even support brain function. Some studies suggest that creatine supplementation in older adults can improve memory and processing speed, possibly due to its role in cellular energy production in the brain. Hydration is another factor that can't be stressed enough. Creatine increases the water content inside muscle cells, which is part of how it creates that full look and improves performance. This doesn't mean you're dehydrated, but it does mean you should drink a little more water than usual, especially if you train hard or live in a hot climate. For most people, an extra 500–1,000 ml of water per day while on creatine is plenty to keep everything balanced. Interestingly, creatine's potential goes beyond sports and fitness. Research is exploring its role in neurological protection, including in conditions like traumatic brain injury, TBI, and multiple sclerosis. While these applications are still being studied, the underlying principle is the same. By supporting the body's energy systems at a cellular level, creatine may help protect and repair tissue under stress. For practical day-to-day use, the most important factor is consistency. Missing a day here and there isn't catastrophic, but the benefits of creatine come from keeping your muscle stores saturated. Think of it like charging a phone battery. Once it's full, you just need to keep topping it up. Skipping too many days is like letting that battery drain. You'll lose the advantage you've built up. In terms of form, creatine monohydrate powder remains the most cost-effective and proven choice. Capsules are convenient for travel or for those who dislike powders, but they tend to be more expensive for the same dose. Liquid creatine products are generally not recommended because creatine degrades into creatinine when suspended in liquid for long periods, reducing its effectiveness. For those concerned about weight gain, it's worth emphasizing again. The small weight increase you might see in the first week or two is primarily water stored inside the muscle cells, not fat. This intracellular water actually contributes to a better training environment for muscle growth, as it can improve nutrient delivery and cellular signaling for protein synthesis. Many athletes see this as a welcome change, as it gives the muscles a denser, more pumped appearance even at rest. Finally, let's touch on stacking creatine with other supplements. While it's effective on its own, creatine works particularly well when paired with beta-alanine for high-intensity endurance, or with protein powder for post-workout recovery. Caffeine can also be taken alongside creatine, despite old myths claiming they interfere with each other. Modern research shows no significant negative interaction for most people. At the end of the day, creatine is one of the few supplements that consistently delivers measurable results when taken correctly. It's safe for the vast majority of people, affordable, and backed by a mountain of research. The key is to ignore the noise, stick to the basics. Pure creatine monohydrate, 325 grams per day, taken consistently, and pair it with solid training, good nutrition, and adequate hydration. Do that, and creatine will reward you not with overnight miracles, but with steady, compounding progress that builds real, lasting strength and muscle over time. And perhaps the most satisfying part? You'll know that you're using a supplement that isn't based on hype or guesswork. It's grounded in decades of science, trusted by athletes at every level, and powerful enough to make a real difference in your performance, your physique, and even your overall health.